Magandang araw sa inyong lahat.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening po sa lahat ng nakikinig po.
Hello to all our viewers from here and around the world.
Napakaganda na ating talentaman ngayong hapon ito.
Isang mainit na pagbati po sa inyong lahat.
Well, friends,
Welcome to the Bridges Show. I'm very happy to be here, and I think it should be a really interesting and fun topic.
But there are things you want to learn. So I want to take it from there and then I listen to them.
meron silang mga mitiin upang maging makabuluhan pa ang pagiging Katoliko. Lalong-lalo na sa susunod na henerasyon.
Sa akin po, sa mga kabataan, use competence as a basis.
In real life, hindi naman talaga tayo tumitigil sa buhay. Kailangan talaga tuloy lang ang buhay kahit anong challenges natin.
Palawan, Cebu, Baguio City, Atty. Dwight, pati La Union. So we are saying that revenge travel is real.
Mas kailangan natin na i-share ang hiwaga ng sinin sa mga tao.
Food and health should go hand in hand. So yan ang gusto namin paratingin sa gobyerno.
If you will just devote your life teaching, hindi ka yayaman sa pera, pero yayaman ka sa tao.
Siyempre, ang pinakamaganda po naman sa ating universidad ay yung talagang matuturuan po tayo kung paano maging mabuting tao.
Happy anniversary to Bridges! Here at Bridges, we build bridges of faith, bridges of hope, and bridges of love.
The Art of Aging Gracefully is a beautiful testament to self-acceptance and self-care. It is about nurturing our skin, enhancing vitality, and embracing change with grace. In this week's episode of Bridges, let's embrace our true selves with love and care by preventing premature aging and learning about the science, factors, and tips to maintain youthful skin. We have today a very special guest, a board-certified dermatologist who is certainly an expert in this particular field or in this particular topic, who will share with us about aging gracefully, timeless tips for radiant skin. This episode is brought to you by the UST Medical Alumni Association and the UST Alumni Association. Bago po ang lahat, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone. Welcome to our Bridges Show. I'm Dr. Charmaine Castillo, your host for today's Bridges Show. I too am a board-certified dermatologist, a fellow of the Philippine Dermatological Society. I'm a proud alumna of UST, having received both my BS Biology pre-med degree from the College of Science and my medical degree from the Faculty of Medicine and Surgery. I also completed both my internship and subsequently my dermatology residency at UST Hospital. So I spent more or less 12 years of my life in UST. And though I'm not currently connected with UST, whether with a faculty or with a hospital, my ties to UST remain strong as I'm currently a board member of the UST Medical Alumni Association and have been so for several terms. I've also been inspired by my mentors in UST in helping to nurture future dermatologists, as I'm currently the residency training officer of the Department of Dermatology of Rizal Medical Center. So I really owe a lot to my Thomasian education. But that's enough about me. I'm sure everyone is eager to hear from our guest speaker. Before we continue though, may I ask our audience to please remember to like and share our show and subscribe to our UST Thomasian Alumni Community YouTube channel and follow our Facebook page. So to continue, our guest for this episode is Dr. Maria Angela P. Cumagun. She is the chairman and associate professor of the Department of Dermatology of the University of Santo Tomas Faculty of Medicine and Surgery. She is a fellow of the Philippine Dermatological Society, where she served in various capacities, the most recent of which has been to she was a chair of the Board of Examiners from 2019 to 2021. And just before the pandemic, she was a chair of the Philippine Environmental and Occupational Dermatology. She is currently a board director of the Philippine Academy of Dermatologic Surgery, and she is an active staff at UST Hospital Cardinal Santos, and Asian Hospital. I believe she started her journey in dermatology via her residency in UST and then a fellowship in clinical dermatology at the University of Miami. But we will ask her to share more of her journey in a little while. So without further ado, let us welcome our very special guest to Bridges, Dr. Maria Angela P. Cumagun. Magandang hapon, Dr. Cumagun.
Good morning. Hi, Charm.
Can I
Thank
just
you
call
for
you
the nice
Angel?
introduction. Yes, of course, Charm.
I
Yeah,
hope
so I'd
the
like to welcome everybody to this Bridges. It's my first time and thank you for the kind invitation. Di ako makakahindi kay Charm. Kaya, even if I just arrived.
yes, yes. Yes,
Okay.
jet lagged and
Yes.
all. Jet lagged and all. You're here. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I hope our viewers also don't mind. I refer to her as Angel. Hindi
Yeah,
ako
we'll call each other by our first names because we're really colleagues.
Yes,
She
yes.
was my junior resident when I was a senior, right? Yeah.
Yes,
So we
yes,
go way back.
yes. And one of my favorite senior residents.
Okay.
Okay. So really, no, guesting in Bridges is like coming home to UST, our alma mater again. How many years were you able to spend in UST? And during those years, what memory left a most significant and memorable imprint in you?
Oh my God, Charm. I go way back because both my parents, like my father, T stands for Toma Cruz. I'm the daughter of Dr. Jesus Toma Cruz. So you can just imagine. My mother is also Thomasian. She finished nursing in UST. So ever since I was little, my dad would make rounds and for me, UST was our playground. So that was really memorable. And then I took my my pre-med and my medical school also at UST and my residency, and I'm still with UST. I've been teaching for a little less than 30 years, so that's a long time. So a
You
lot of
don't
memories. Maybe the biggest memory will be like, nung binaha ako, na, I think everybody who's been to UST will always have that experience of being flooded in or
stranded.
something.
Yeah.
Stranded.
You
Yeah.
didn't graduate from UST if you didn't experience that. Right?
Up to now, no matter what they do. Okay.
Unfortunately. Okay. So, can you share with us briefly what captivated you to dermatology as your choice of specialization?
Actually, it goes way back because I used to work in the States before for a company, like an aesthetic, SC Lauder Clinic to be short. I was working in the lab, and every like Monday, these ladies in white would come in and they looked so nice. So I would say, "What are they?" And they said, "Oh, they're dermatologists." So I said, that's what I want to be. I want to be a dermatologist. So that's it. In a gist. So
So
when
it
I started med school, I really had dermatology in mind, and I didn't know it, involved a lot of pathologic, it involved, surgery, pediatrics, you treat both young and old, which was really nice. And, when I finished, that was the time where lasers were beginning, toxins, fillers. So, for me, I started at the right time when this was also booming, the start. Mm.
Yeah, but it's really so you would say it's quite different now.
Yes,
From
very
the time
different.
we were
Yeah.
in residency, right? It's really quite different now. But I think we had the best of both worlds because we had really a good background on medical
Pathologic. Yeah.
pathologic also.
Yeah, because during our time, we did not have any aesthetic. Everything was pathologic. So the residents now are lucky because they have exposure or they even get to do aesthetic procedures even, and you have, the machines, you have the lasers for it too. So sobrang lucky sila ngayon. Mm-mm.
But anyway, we were also lucky. We had a
Yeah,
beautiful journey. You had a beautiful journey, right?
we had to catch up. Yeah. Yes.
So, but before we go to the meat of our discussion, for the benefit of our viewers, why do you think the skin is given so much importance and value in the overall personality of a person, whether male or female? So much so
Oh.
that it's an impact on oneself and others on the way the skin is perceived.
Well, actually, they consider the skin the largest organ of the body, and it's the most conspicuous visual indication for aging. So you can right away see aging in the face, the neck, the arms, the hands, okay? And when you meet somebody, it's actually the skin that you see first, that, your first attraction is usually physical, right? So in terms of the skin quality, what you want a skin that is healthy, one that is undamaged and youthful. So we look at skin quality. Okay. So when you say skin quality, we consider 4 factors like firmness. Okay. So if it's tight, it has no sagging, if it's elastic, you also consider surface evenness. If it's smooth, if no lines, or the skin tone is very important. It has no pigment or erythema or redness, and the last with glow. Many people now, they want to have glowing, luminous, radiant skin. So the skin is very important. So if there's any damage in it, it also affects the patients in terms of their confidence. Okay, so having good skin really counts. And there are a lot of studies that show like people with better skin get, better jobs, things like that.
And for example, people think like acne, it's so, everyone has acne,
Prevalent.
but encounter a patient with really bad acne and how much it impacts their
Yes.
self-confidence. And then when you treat them and then they get that self-confidence back, it's like, people think it's so parang mababaw, di ba? But it actually, it really has a big impact on the lives of our patients also.
Yes.
So I agree with. So, well, as we all know, aging is an inevitable and dynamic process characterized by progressive deterioration of many body systems. And there's really that quest to harness longevity for humans. And this has driven fevered attempts to slow or stop aging. So, like you mentioned, skin changes are obviously among the most visible signs of aging. So there's really a huge interest on how to prevent and reverse these signs. I think you mentioned it briefly earlier, but can you elaborate on can you tell us what are the signs of skin aging and what are the most important factors that cause our skin to age prematurely?
Okay. So everybody will, age with the passage of time. So there are 2 causes of aging. We call them intrinsic aging, and the other one is extrinsic aging, which is equivalent to photo aging. So with intrinsic aging, this is biological, it's genetics, metabolism, hormones play a role, immunological, psychogenic and all that. But with extrinsic aging, 90% of what we perceive as aging is extrinsic. So this is prolonged sun exposure. So you can just imagine the importance of using a sunscreen, environmental insults, pollution, stress, smoking, drinking, even sleeping patterns, gravity, they all play an important role. And you asked like, what are the signs? Okay. So just look at the face of Charm. Okay, so if you look at the face of Charm, you'll see she has a very defined jawline. They call it snatched. Okay, she has firm skin. Look at her neck. Very firm. She has high brow, short. But look at me. Okay, so I have like bags underneath. I can't. I don't have crow's feet because I have Botox on now. But you can have here nasolabial folds, and then I'm jowly. If you look at the side, I have jowls here. Okay, so there, and neck, I have necklines too. Okay, so those, I think that's for Charm. I think that's why you got me. Aging, okay? So your
Aging
hollows, your
gracefully.
puffiness, okay? Skin laxity, larger pores, textural changes, okay? Spots or discoloration. So those are the signs of an aging phase. And basically, the skin is involved. Not people always think it's the skin, but there are also other organs involved, like your melanocytes, they produce, so you may have more pigmentation. Earlier, Doctora was, saying I have some pigmentation problems here. You can also have like loss of fat pads. When there's a loss of fat pads here, then it begins to shrink down. And they're all connected to the muscle, so it pulls it down also. There's also shrinkage of the bone, so the skin becomes and fat becomes larger, so it begins to pull down also. So those are the signs. Okay. Mm.
Okay, thank you. There's a question here, but I think actually the question is, what's your secret to slow down the aged look of the skin? But I think, yeah, that's the next thing that we'll be discussing. Knowing the factors that cause premature aging, what now are your tips? What are the essentials in slowing down this process, or preventing premature aging?
Okay. So, as I mentioned, there are many. You can divide it differently. You can have like the use of, number one would be sunscreen. Okay. So maybe I can explain more why the sun plays an important role. Okay. Because it's very vital. Okay. So there are many new theories regarding aging. You have the photo aging theory due to UV light. And one can be a non-enzymatic glycosylation and free radical and oxidative stress theory also. All of this will produce inflammation, okay, and therefore oxidative stress, okay. So the sun will make the fibroblasts create what you call your reactive oxygen species that will cause cellular senescence, that will also give you stem cell exhaustion. Then therefore, there will also be a mitochondrial ATP decline and also DNA damage. All of this will also induce an increase in your metalloproteinases, okay, and reduce extracellular matrix proteins, all of which would give you your aging. So in aging, you see fine lines, you have ritids, laxity, there's a decrease in the elasticity of the skin, there is less mechanical resistance, and also less hydration. So as you get older, you notice that your skin is also drier, okay? So it's not just limited to the skin, but you also have to consider the muscle, the fat layer also, not just skin, okay? So lifestyle plays an important factor also. So it's multifactorial, the insights in aging. So it's not just skin. So lifestyle would entail high fat diet and obesity that plays an important role. A decrease in the dietary water intake. So you have to take a lot of water. Impaired sleep quality. So people may not realize, but having good sleep is also very important. Disturbed gut microbiome. Another one can be the circadian skin clock. They call it circadian skin clock, where there's regulated by skin clock genes, fluctuation in the human skin characteristics, okay? And these are all disrupted by UV exposure, inflammation, and disturbed and lifestyle factors too, and also injuries. So going to treatment, there are many things that you have to consider in terms of, you can use some, aside from sunscreens, your antioxidants, your cell regulators, phytonutrients, polyphenols, and your skin barrier repair. So for antioxidants, you have glutathione, you have your vitamin C, your vitamin B, A, C, and E, and B3 are important. Bakuchiol, a replacement. Maybe some of you have heard of bakuchiol. It's natural bakuchiol. It's a replacement for people who cannot tolerate tretinoin. Melatonin is also considered an antioxidant. Okay. Now, in terms of cell regulators, we have your phytonutrients. So your resveratrol, like in your wine that you can see, green tea, curcumin, vitamin A derivatives, very important. Your retinoic acid, that are topical. If you cannot tolerate them, we have retinol, okay? Your polypeptides, your nicotinamide, your coenzyme, metformin, the list goes on really, okay? So in terms of skin barrier, earlier they were talking, now moisturizers are important. You have your ceramides, your hyaluronic acid, your sodium lactate, and your propylene glycol, urea, those things. So these are anti-aging products, okay? So if you want to delve deeper for skin tightening, we always have lasers in terms of radio frequency, ultrasound, okay? Of course, surgery, getting a facelift or, rhinoblepharoplasty will give you instant results, but not all are willing to go under the knife or are willing to spend, or they just don't like the downtime of it. So we have new thing now, charm is micro coring, okay? That's it. But right now, people are going away towards surgical procedures, and they prefer non-invasive treatments or with no downtime also. So my approach would maybe with another treatments can be injectables. So you always have Botox, which is for dynamic wrinkles, for the upper facial rejuvenation. You can have chemical peels, you can have eye intensity focused ultrasound, threads also play a role. Right now, the thing that's new are skin boosters. We have polynucleotides. We have a lot. So those are
That's
that
really a
goes.
lot to digest.
There's a lot of things to digest. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
maybe we can break it down.
Now, yes, because you asked me right away. So
Yeah.
there's
Because
just so much, really. Yeah.
yeah. There's a question: is niacin good for the skin? But maybe we'll go back to that later. We'll break it down first, no? So first, can we go back to the very first, which is because you really emphasize one of the major factors, or maybe the major factor for extrinsic aging is really UV, no, sun exposure. That's why many people tend to forget the importance of using sunscreen. Of course, as Filipinos naman, medyo takot talaga tayo sa araw, di ba? We bring an umbrella, we try to stay in the shade, we don't stay out in the beach, but with the use of sunscreen, I think, we're 50-50. Because for one, I think there are some people who think that, I'm dark-skinned naman. Kasi they think it's really for pigmentation eh. Di ba? Yun yung first nila, because they want to be white. They don't want pigmentation. That's why they use sunscreen. But they don't really think about the effects on aging, not just pigmentation, the wrinkles, So my question really is, what is the proper, how do we help people choose the right type of sunscreen for them? How to help them understand, the labels, what is SPF, what is water resistant, what is a broad spectrum, and should it be properly applied? So that's what I want people to also know better, or understand.
Okay. So SPF should be your new BFF. Okay, so when you say SPF, it means sun protection factor, and usually it comes with a number beside it. So you can have 15, 30, 50. The recommendation now is at least 30, between 30 to 50. The new sunscreens now, you will see it has UVA protection, and the better ones have UVA, UVB, high energy visible light, okay, and also infrared. So those are added, something new in sunscreens now. Actually, another one, it also has to be barrier reef friendly. Okay, that's the thing, because there are some places now, like in Hawaii, that you can't wear a sunscreen. It has to be friendly, okay, because they've shown that some of the sunscreens are not good for the corals, or they can kill the corals. So UVB is very important, because UVB is the shorter wavelength, and just remember, B can cause burning or your sunburn. UVA is the longer wavelength, and A can give you aging also, okay? Blue light is very important, okay? So all of us, especially during the pandemic, we're in front of our gadgets, our phones, our iPads, our computers, and it emits also blue light, okay? But actually, blue light is a combination of your sunlight and also the light that you get from your devices. Okay, so it's very important that you use sunscreens. You want me to go more into UVA, UVB?
No,
Okay,
maybe
so
just
UV,
about the
UV,
proper
okay.
application.
So there are physical sunscreens and physical sunscreens, okay. Because you have also physical and chemical sunscreens. Your physical sunscreens, they reflect away, from the sun, while your chemical sunscreen absorb, okay, the light, okay. Now, Charm, there are new ones called biological ones also, where they're released, when they're exposed to the sun. So it's something new, really, also. Okay, you want me
It
pa
feels
more?
time for maybe how to properly apply the sun.
Okay. The best is really to use the sunscreen, of course, in the morning. You don't need a sunscreen at night. Around 15 to 30 minutes before going out. Apply it to all sun-exposed areas. Usually, they recommend like a shot glass full for the entire body. Some people put very thinly. Okay, so you should put enough to cover your face, your ears, exposed areas. Okay. Right now, they believe that the tinted sunscreens are better. And then if you are going to take a bath or take swim or, dive or something, or you're going to be sweating a lot, then you have to reapply every 2 hours, things like that. You want to add anything?
Maybe just can you, because there are some people naman who are worried about, putting on sunscreen and avoiding the sun, will it cause them to become osteoporotic because, they don't get enough
Not
D?
enough vitamin D. Maybe I think that's the reason why many dermatologists have low vitamin D levels because we're always using sunscreen. No naman, because you can get naman vitamin D in other ways naman.
Yeah, I think there are studies naman that showed that it's not
Mm-mm.
really a cause for
Okay.
osteoporosis if you use your sunscreen regularly. No, I
So
think
use a broad spectrum sunscreen that covers UVA, UVB, visible light, and infrared.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. So any other questions regarding sunscreen, just type it in the chat box.
Madami yan eh. We can just discuss
Yeah,
sunscreens lang eh.
for an hour. Yeah, true. So
There's so many new things na kasi now eh.
yeah, you
Mm-mm.
mentioned also in relation to sunscreens about naman moisturization, because it's also something that many people tend to forget, especially because of our weather, our humid weather. People don't like to put uh, moisturizers on their skin. So what can you say about this? There was actually somebody who said that in Filipinos don't need to put moisturizer because nga oily raw tayo, and then with the humid weather.
Actually, okay. So moisturizers actually is meant to hydrate, to soften the skin also, and also to strengthen the barrier of the skin. So before, diba, we have cleanse, moisturize, protect. That's how we go. There are many ways to use. If you don't like to use a moisturizer, some of the sunscreen also act like a moisturizer, things like that. It also depends on your skin type, the weather you are in. Okay, so if I'm here in the Philippines, then the moisturizer would be a little lighter than if I'm abroad in a cold weather, then it might not be enough for me. But especially as you get older, your skin becomes drier, so you would really need a moisturizer. Some people use it in the end to lock in, the moisture. Some people use the moisturizer to tone down the strength of the retinoids and stuff like that. So it's nice to use a moisturizer. You, Charm, you use
Yeah,
a
but
moisturizer?
occasionally. Bad. So, well,
So basically, in terms of skincare, we follow cleanse, you treat, and you also moisturize. So the third is really moisturize. So when you say cleanser, it's actually the backbone of the skincare. Okay, so you want a cleanser that's fragrance free, that's pH neutral, one that is free of fragrance, hypoallergenic, gentle. Okay, things like that. You don't like to over cleanse. Some people use a loofah or to scrub, okay, especially for patients with sensitive skin or patients who have atopic dermatitis. Too much, can break down your skin barrier system. So you want to moisturize, to hydrate, to soften, to protect the barrier, treat. Then you have to identify for prevention. You can use antioxidants like your vitamin C, which also boosts your sunscreens. You want to correct, if you have any problems in terms of acne, if you have dry skin, if you're aging skin, like you have signs of aging, wrinkles and all that, or you have discoloration like melasma. Then you also want to protect your skin. We talked already about sunscreens too. Another would be, in order of importance, very important is a sunscreen. And then your retinoid, okay? So you want either a retinol or any retinoic acid. I know in the US, retinoid is a prescriptive drug. Next will be your antioxidant. You want to start maybe vitamin C or E or something with ferulic, a good moisturizer and a gentle cleanser. That's pababa in order of importance also. So as mentioned, sunscreen is the most important anti-aging product.
There's
Okay.
actually this question here. Should we use sunscreen every time we go out or only when we will be exposed to the sun for a long time?
Well, as I mentioned, you have blue light, light from, the light up here. Or from your gadgets, you want to protect yourself. It's nice to get into the habit, of it. Some people think, makulimlim, or it's going to rain, or if you're out in the snow, or you're covered anyway. So, the snow and water, they're very good reflectants, so some say I'm under the cover, but why am I dark? It's because it reflects, especially snow. And even with it's cloudy, your sun penetrates through it also. So you still need your sunscreen.
Thank you. So I'll go a little bit back to cleansing because
Cleansing, okay.
use soap with whitening, or do you still get patients who use perla to wash their face?
Okay.
Acne patients, come to you. They were told now to use this laundry soap to wash your face. Yeah. So can you?
Okay. So okay. So number one is soaps can be divided. The skin's pH is around 5.5. Okay. And most of the soaps that you're familiar with, like Perla or Safeguard, they are alkaline in nature. Okay. Compared to maybe Dove Sensitive or Cetaphil. I'll just mention names. No disclosure. I don't own any of these companies. Okay. So, or maybe Eucerin, or Bepanthen, all of these products. They are more on the acidic side. Okay. So you want to use something that's close to the skin's natural pH to avoid drying. So cleansers that have other added things like sulfur, antibacterials, salicylic acid, then if your skin is acne prone, okay lang to use something with salicylic acid. But if your skin is, in the aging, so that side, I think you might prefer a soap with a neutral pH or skin that's balanced. Now, for me, I don't know about Charm.
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
Okay.
So
And then sometimes the added ingredients like fragrance and color,
Lightening.
they're added things. So if you have some sensitivities, then you might react to them also, Yeah.
Thank you. And then, how about you talked about retinol, but before maybe retinol or retinoic acid or tretinoin, how about the antioxidants? Because there's a question here about niacin. Niacin for the skin, there are topicals available.
Yes.
I think niacinamide is popular.
So niacinamide is actually vitamin B3, okay? So it helps improve the appearance of pores, enlarged pores, and even tone also. It has an anti-inflammatory property also with it, and there.
Thank you. So, and then among the products, it's really tretinoin or retinoic acid that we most commonly prescribe as a topical for anti-aging, right?
Yes, yes.
But then all the more that they really need moisturization because the adverse effect of the tretinoin, it will really dry the skin. So they really have to uh after the treat part, then moisturize, and then of course protect with a sunscreen. Okay, so I think we're okay with the topicals. There are many new ones like you mentioned earlier. There are many other topical agents, antioxidants, vitamin C. But sir, something new for topicals?
For topical. So earlier we already discussed the niacinamide. Okay. So also patients with it helps also with sebum regulation also. So actually there are many examples like you have Paula's Choice, The Ordinary. So they have specific na niacinamide lang, or even your CeraVe facial moisturizer also have niacinamide on it, or La Roche-Posay. Now, vitamin C is very important. I would choose this. It has an antioxidant protectant. It's because vitamin C also helps with collagen synthesis. It has a brightening property. It boosts your sunscreen, so it's for sun protection too. And it has some anti-inflammatory property also. So like it's for collagen synthesis, brightening skin tone, ganyan. Another would be vitamin E with ferulic acid. So there are good combinations that you can see now. Medyo mahal lang siya. Vitamin C, E, and ferulic. So E is also can act like a moisturizer also. It's not just a matter of knowing what it is, but also knowing how to apply them, okay? Another can be hyaluronic acid. A commonly asked question, Doctora, hyaluronic acid is like, they think hyaluronic acid is something new, but hyaluronic acid has been around forever, ever since forever, okay? So they use hyaluronic acid, basically it's a humectant, so it gets its moisture from the outside and from the inside. So it's for hydration. It has a plumping effect too, okay? It also helps with the barrier function. It's compatible with, all skin types, and it's basically it's also lightweight and non-comedogenic too. And you can layer it, can be used in conjunction with many other products too, or other skincare ingredients. Okay, so hyaluronic acid you can see in serums, in moisturizers, in masks. Usong-uso yung mga masks. So again, SkinCeuticals has some hyaluronic acid, Ordinary, Neutrogena, Drunk Elephant, things like that. So, what else aside from that?
Can you like
Collagen. How about collagen?
give like
Collagen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, collagen. So collagen also, people always ask about collagen. When I went to the store one time and I saw one big escaparate of puro collagen. May oral collagen, may liquid, may topical, okay? So we know that collagen is a protein that provides structural support to the skin, and it helps maintain the elasticity and also firmness and hydration. So many claim that they want to replenish the collagen levels in the skin, but if collagen is a large molecule, so I don't know how it actually can penetrate, okay? So we still need scientific evidence, to support these claims. It's mixed though. I've seen some studies that are for it, but I've seen also some studies that, aren't for it. They debunked it, okay? So actually more research is needed to really conclusively say if, the efficacy of oral collagen supplements, okay? While topical can enhance the collagen effectiveness of topical collagen. Again, the studies are limited also. Okay, peptides. You want to go into peptides?
Now, maybe for the benefit of our viewers, can you give like a simple regimen, anti-aging regimen relying on topicals? What would be your top? Like if I were a patient who would ask you, I'm like around this age or maybe a little older and you want an anti-aging regimen, what would you advise them, starting
Okay.
from the morning and then evening
So
regimen?
my approach actually will depend on the age of the patient, okay? Because right now, patients, you think that rejuvenation is only for the elderly or for the aging, but now we already have pre-rejuvenation, okay? So these millennials, this Gen Z, Alpha, they're already starting as early to come and they say for aging, but wala pa naman silang wrinkles or what, okay? So I start with the age of the patient, okay? So if they're very young, they're oily, then of course if they have other problems like acne, then I would give them an anti-acne regimen, okay? The ethnicity also helps, okay? So even here in the Philippines, we have a lot of patients from all over the world, okay? So we have to consider the ethnicity, the location, okay? So if it's just face or neck or the body also of laxity. And what's the patient's concern? You always ask like, maybe you want to give this, give that, put everything there, but you have to ask what's the patient's concern and budget because these things aren't cheap also. So maybe their concern is, Doctor, my face is oily, or Doctor, my face is dry, or I have acne, or my sagging skin or pigmentation. So I have to consider the concern of the patient. Also in terms of comorbidities also or associated defects if they're more prone to scars or keloids and all that, okay? So next would be, first is to cleanse. Okay, I did mention this, cleanse, okay? And then after that, you want to treat. So what I mentioned, the other problems that the patient will have. And then after that, the use of, depends also, morning or evening. Okay, so you have a morning regimen and you have an evening regimen also. So in the morning, you may want to put like, your serum, like maybe a vitamin C. Okay, so let's go cleanse. Optional will be a toner and an essence. Okay, so a toner just regulates the pH of the skin. Okay, but sometimes you don't need the toner because many of the cleansers are pH balanced. Okay, essence can be in the form of your hyaluronic acid, maybe those snail mucin things and stuff. So the thing is, it makes the other things that you will put better absorb. Okay, so I said that's optional. So next will be your antioxidants. Okay, whether you want to use a vitamin C or other peptides. I didn't mention any peptides. Okay, your vitamin C, E, ferulic. Try to tone it down to 3 antioxidants because if you go over more than 3, it's going to be too sobrang patong-patong, okay? And then your moisturizer. So some people would like to use an eye cream or a moisturizer and then your sunscreen, okay? Some patients want to lock it up in the end with a face oil, but I never do that because it doesn't agree with me. Because you also have to consider I'm mixed, like in the middle of the day, my face kind of gets oily, like now, medyo oily na yung skin ko. Ayun, things like that. And then, of course, sunscreen. Okay, so in the evening, okay, again, you cleanse. Some people might want to double cleanse with the women with cleansers. You want to use a micellar and then use a cleanser after. Then you want to use, again, your antioxidants. It's a good thing to put your peptides in now. And then you might want to use your retinoids, okay? So if you cannot tolerate retinoic acid, you have retinol, you have retinaldehyde, or you can even use bakutrol, there's something new. And then the end is, if your skin is sensitive, you can top it off with a moisturizer also. That's it. A lot to digest.
Yeah,
A lot to digest. Yes.
I want to emphasize because, like you said, it's not just giving them parang dekahon
Yes.
regimen. It's really, you analyze the patient first. That's why we want to emphasize to please consult first with your board certified dermatologist.
It's funny because right now, I think the reason they're so concerned is social media plays a big role. There are a lot of skin influencers, a lot of people, hi, I'm a board certified dermatologist, things like that. And they all give their piece of advice, okay? But I think the best is really start early, okay? So it's never too early, it's never too late, okay? Always focus on prevention. That's actually, these are my takeaway messages already. Focus on prevention. I mentioned already many things that you can do, many products that you can try. Lifestyle matters. Okay. So when I say lifestyle, sleeping, your sleeping pattern, eating habits, or what you eat, smoking, drinking, things like that. And as mentioned by Charm, customization. Don't follow everything I say. Follow what what you should, what your skin says, okay? And of course, as a dermatologist, you can incorporate other technology, treatments, okay? They help. Okay.
Yeah, but when
Mhm.
the treatments, the procedures or the treatments now that are available, that will
Mhm.
take more than an hour for us to discuss. But maybe what's the latest? Like what's really the
Mhm.
hottest thing now? Maybe also to manage expectations. Like it's for this procedure, for example, what do you expect to see? What kind of improvement? And then what are the downsides or what are the possible complications? Because they hear about this and then they go to you, I want to do this procedure,
Yeah.
and then
Actually, now you don't have to talk to them about it. They come to you already saying, I want Thermage, I want Ulthera, I want Soft Wave, I want the filler. They already know what they want, no? And sometimes it's not what they need really. So in terms of injectables, then you have your Botox or your botulinum toxin. So it's really good for upper facial, for frown lines, for wrinkles in the forehead, for crow's feet, but we can also use it for masseter, if you're big masseter. Then you can even have micro Botox also. Of course, fillers, for, if you want to have fillers here. But right now, the motto is less is more. Okay. We
there's
also,
a overfilled
yeah,
syndrome.
overfilled. So people have been getting fillers for a long time. When they did MRIs or scans, they see that some of the fillers have actually migrated elsewhere in the skin. So that's what we call the overfilled syndrome. Okay, so some beautiful actresses now, before, because of too much fillers, they don't look like themselves anymore. Okay. So those are the injectables. The new ones now would be your exosomes, your Reduran, your polynucleotide. Okay, they give you a glow, luminous glow, hydration. Um, what's Profilo? Profilo is something.
Yeah. It's a, I think it's also biostimulator.
A biostimulator, yes, it's a biostimulator. So you just put it in 5 points, on the face, and it gives you parang filler effect, but it's not considered a filler, but it's hyaluronic acid,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So those are the injectables. In terms of lasers, all the ones I mentioned, like Thermage, is monopolar radio frequency, Ulthera, soft wave, makes use of microfocus ultrasound. Um, and all of this basically use thermal heat. You heat up the collagen contracts, denatures, and later on it gets into fall sense. I have to create more collagen. So this is what you call neocollagenesis, where after a couple of months, you're going to have a tightening and a lifting effect also. So we also have ablative and non-ablative lasers, okay? You have your erbium, your CO2 lasers, you have your Nd:YAG 1064 lasers, pulse dye lasers. I can go on and on. We also have pala microneedling, radio RF microneedling, okay? So as mentioned by, medyo mahirap to talk about it. The thing about now also is microneedling or making holes in the skin and applying, you know, like your exosomes on top that can also work. So yun, RF microneedling, madami,
There are really
madami.
so options that even us, we we also get confused which one would you offer to the patient, right?
Oo.
And,
Yeah,
and
depends. And then sometimes you tell them, and then but they kind of back out when they figure out it's expensive.
yeah. All of these
Mesh.
are, there are no cheap. I think the cheapest would be still chemical peeling. That's more affordable, right?
Mm. So
They can.
chemical peels, okay, you can have a glycolic peel, a glycolic acid peel. You have your lactic acid, a very mild peel, your mandelic acid. So also depends on if your skin is oily, if I use lactic acid for my patients who are very sensitive with, with sensitive skin or people with oily skin, maybe a mandelic acid. There are modified Gesners. Again, the peel goes on and on.
Actually, the components of the peels, they're usually, you can find them in a lot of topicals, right? But
Mhm.
the concentration of these ingredients in the peels are much higher. That's why they should be applied as an in-office procedure. It's not like they peel, you see a lot of patients come to you that their face gets burned because they did the peel themselves, or they use a very strong, like astringent that could cause peeling, and then it causes more problems for them. They have a lot of pigmentation. Yeah, so yeah, that's another thing. But I just mentioned chemical peels because as compared to like lasers, and they're relatively cheaper, maybe more affordable. But I think bottom line really is, uh you don't just do these procedures left and right. You have to go to your, you have to really ask questions, know all the possible, what to expect, what kind of improvement you'll see, because some have, expectations that are too high, that they really expect that as if they had a facelift done, that kind of effect, when you don't really get it. And then of course they would say, I spent so much, and but this is just a subtle improvement. So, you really have to ask the right questions, talk to your board certified dermatologist, and before you dive into any of these procedures. So there's a question here: does facial massage and exercise help in maintaining the tone of the skin?
Yeah naman. Yes. Yes. Because I mentioned earlier, the face is like, the skin is like, kumbaga, in a couch. It's just the cover of the couch. So you have to, also consider muscle. So they do this squasha and, this thing. And actually it helps, or exercise, that, yes. Yes, Doctora.
But
Mhm.
maybe just avoid, the facial muscle so much, like squinting, and because that will cause on your dynamic wrinkles. So sometimes you also want to be medyo expressionless, because
But
so,
there's some people kasi they're really more expressive than others, when they talk, every muscle in their face works, But there's some people naman na hindi, so you can see also they would need less.
correct. So yeah, we've had a good discussion, I think. No, of course, never enough
Ang
time.
haba na pala.
Yeah, looking at the
Almost
time,
1 hour na pala
we're
tayo.
almost 1 hour. So maybe to unless there are more questions
So
from
maybe I just want to stress, because you were asking patients, you were asking about sunscreen use. So I think everybody needs to be protected from UVA. Okay, so in terms of sunscreen, patients with a high phototype. So we are type 4. We are Filipinos. We are between type 3 to type 4 skin type. And UVA and also visible light, we get darker. Okay, unlike the lighter Caucasian, UVA and UVs, they don't really get darker. If you have melasma or discoloration in the skin, it's very important that you use a sunscreen. For patients with photodermatosis, maybe like solar urticaria or even SLE, things like that, it's very important. If you go for ablative procedures like fractional resurfacing, then I always tell my patients after to, important to use a sunscreen to avoid the sun. People who are fair skin, who have sensitive skin, okay, It's very important that we use a sunscreen too. Okay, so pretty much you should use a sunscreen. Okay.
There's a pahabol question. How often should skin peeling be done?
Okay. So skin peeling, it really depends on the peel that you're going to use. If I use a glycolic acid, so glycolic acids can be done every month. Okay. So it depends on the concentration. Sometimes we start with 20 or 35, then we go up, the number of minutes. It also depends on the peel that you're using. Some are buffered, unbuffered. The new things now about the peel are there are many peels that are combination peels already. Okay. The thing about us Filipinos, I just attended the International Peel Society just the other day. And surprisingly, I was the only brown skin there. Okay. So my questions were they were always talking about deep peels, like phenol peels, croton peels. And I told them, you will be hard pressed to find a Filipino dermatologist doing deep peels because once we get red, like really red, we're going to pigment. Okay. Things like that. And recently there was a 27-year-old that died. He had the phenol peel. He had the deep peel, not here in the Philippines, in Brazil. That was in Brazil. So Brazil is going crazy now because it was done by not a dermatologist because a phenol peel has to be done, surgery, with anesthesia, monitoring. Yes, monitoring. And he died a few minutes after doing the peel, no? So the peel. So there's so much. So it depends on because you can have like peel just in the around the eye, there's also cosmelan, which is also like a peel. If you have a patients with melasma, then we leave on the cosmelan one for 8 hours. Then we take it off after 8 hours, and then they go home with it, take it off. Don't put anything for 7 days, and start with cosmelan to 2 treatments also. So that is a combination peel then. So there's a list of peels really there. And
But
depends also kung acne, you have salicylic peel, you can use a modified Dresner's peel, but basically they're spaced 3 to 4 weeks apart.
Yeah, and I think and when a patient comes back to you before you do the peel, of course for example,
You assess.
another you assess first before, even if you say, oh, you come back in 2 weeks, but when he comes back you see that it's not ready for a peel, of course you don't do it. So it depends also on the condition of the skin. Do mud packs really work? That's another question. Do mud packs really work?
It depends on what's inside the mud pack because there's a lot of things on it. So sometimes there's some brightening or whitening stuff in it. Okay. Or kasi nauso yan with the masks and the mud packs and all. So you have to read the direction, the instructions, like what is it for? What is it for? So
Okay, so thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for all the questions. It really added to our very interesting discussion. But I think we're really almost out of time already. At this point,
okay.
I'd like to thank you very much. You just don't know how much I appreciate Angel. Last minute and jet lag and all. But this has really been a very interesting learning session, and the time went by so fast. We have learned so much about how we can age gracefully without our skin giving away our age. And parang ano to, kindly share your final message. Final na talaga, final message.
Final message. So as I mentioned, start early, protect your skin. You're the captain of your skin. Okay, so we've mentioned many products, many ingredients, many different technologies. Okay, so you're all doctors, so you have to analyze and see what is best for you. You are, as mentioned, you're the captain of your skin. With that, thank you so much. Thank you, Charm, for being such a nice host.
Thank you.
And
So
for those who ask questions.
Thank you. Thank you once again, Angel, Dr. Cumagun, for everyone. So your presence here with us this afternoon has given us a greater impetus, I hope, to age with grace. Napakaganda ng ating talakayan at kwentuhan. It was so engaging and enlightening. So hopefully with this talk today, our viewers not only learned about the latest anti-aging medicine or anti-aging treatment, but more importantly, they learned how to take good care of their skin to keep it healthy, because healthy skin is beautiful skin, and it's an integral part of being able to age gracefully. So at this point, we'd like to thank our sponsors, the UST Medical Alumni Association and the UST Alumni Association. We have a brief announcement. The Dominican community of Calaruega, together with the UST Alumni Association Incorporated, the UST Medical Alumni Association, and the Friends for the Love of Service will conduct this Sunday, June 23, 2024, a medical, surgical, and dental mission in Barangay Kailaway and the nearby barangays of Nasugbu, Batangas. Kindly contact the USTAAI office for further inquiries and for any donations to be given. Before we end the show, we would like to thank all our alumni, students, and friends who have faithfully watched, shared, and liked our Bridges episodes. We share with you the blessings of Bridges and do continue to stay with us, like and share our show, and subscribe to our UST Thomasian Alumni Community YouTube channel and Facebook page. The past episodes of Bridges can be watched in our YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us today. Do watch Bridges again on Tuesday for another exciting episode. It will again be sponsored by UST Medical Alumni Association, and it will be entitled Burnout to Balance. Always remember, here at Bridges, we build bridges of faith, bridges of hope, and bridges of love. Enjoy the rest of the evening. God bless us all. Mabuhay.